Hi Joe, welcome to your 12-month forecast video reading. Thank you so much for asking me to do this for you once again, and welcome. Sorry to hear that you had some heavy stuff happening in the last 12 months. And I was just looking at your chart. I've got it here, of course, as I was doing your current transits. I was like, oh yeah, you had Pluto go over your descendant point, which is the relationship angle of significant, connections in your life, and then Pluto on your north node, which is a once in a lifetime transit. So these energies, they're very intense, and I did talk about that last year. There could have been something about letting go in a connection with somebody or something of that nature. So, sorry to hear that that was difficult for you. But you did also have Saturn in Pisces, which is your sign, and Saturn square moon as well. So all those things together, could have made certain times in last year quite difficult. But let's look at the current energies and what's going forward. There are quite a lot of changes, and you are moving away from a lot of the heavy energy with the Saturn stuff, like I said, because actually this month of February, Saturn moves out of Pisces. So that's going to be a sense of relief for you. That's going to be a good feeling for you. So let's get into this, and we'll talk about everything. I'll talk about some general things for the year, and then for the 12 months, because we're starting in February. And then I'm going to go month to month like I normally do. Like I think I probably mentioned to you last time, I do recommend to have a little notebook and write down your own timestamps, so that when you want to go back to the video, it's not like, because it is going to be obviously a long video, as you know, you're not sort of like, oh, where do I even start looking? So write down the timestamps on the video, like on when you press play, you know what I mean, on YouTube, on the private link, and then have a notebook with certain months or certain things that I mentioned and that stand out to you, or that you think you want to revisit, and that will just help you when you come back to look. All right, so let's look at some overview stuff. So all year you have your progress Mercury making a harmonious aspect to your north node in your relationship part of your chart. This is all year, active all year. So what you can expect with this is the mental level of your thinking and your communications with others. Hang on a second, 1 second, let me double check something here. Yeah, so that's right. So, okay. Sorry, let me double check. Progress Mercury. Yeah, it's 4 degrees of Aries. Sorry, it's I had to write it down because it's not listed on here. Okay, so progress Mercury is here. 4 degrees of Aries. Yeah. So from the 8th house. Okay, sorry, Joe. What this means for the whole year. This is a good thing for you. It's going to help you get things straight in your mind around clear decision making around important things to do with key people in your life, relationships, bosses, work situations, work connections. And there can be this good energy around meeting the right people at the right time this year, and whether it is for work, because it could be connected to finances, the 8th house, or it could be connected to intimacy or potential relationships. But what it's showing is there is a little bit of synchronicity in the air this year around who you meet, how you meet them, thinking of someone, bumping into them, meeting new people, and you're just like, oh my gosh, you're into this. I need, to connect with people into that, whatever that is. And people may say it to you, like they may be like, oh, I've been looking for someone that does that, whether it's your human design or, doing sound healing. And the reason I mentioned those spiritual paths is because also this activation is in a really deep part of your chart, to do with the things that you're deeply fascinated by in life, the things that really get you inspired, the things that help you feel a sense of connection to your identity and what it is that you're offering in the world for others. It's actually quite deep, and I love that this is active all year, so it does help you. It's a sextile, which is a subtle aspect. It's not like a huge overwhelming aspect, but it's definitely there. And what it can indicate is, with a little bit of not push, but a little bit of, I guess, effort would be the word, on your part in connecting with people. And I know you're someone that loves to connect with people. You're a natural communicator, and you connect with people very well. That energy is going to help you a lot this year to make the connections that you need to make that are very synchronous, basically. So it's very nice and helpful for you. All right, so then the other thing that you have that goes throughout the year is that your progressed ascendant lines up with your natal Uranus in a part of the chart for you to do with your earned money. So it looks like to me, again, this one, to clarify, this is from now. It's not exactly all year, but it goes till mid-September this year. So it's almost the whole year till mid-September. There is something about this new energy around either how you're earning money or putting some more effort into developing a client base or a new client base or something novel and new around how you're earning money. So that's going to be in focus, you know, till mid-September. So that's great. And I think you might have had that last year. I might have mentioned it too. So it rings a bell as I say it, that I might have mentioned it last year. But this is a good one too. It can help you develop new connections, meet new people as well, and people where there's something of value that they have to offer you, and vice versa. And also when I say value, you know, it can connect to financial gain as well, like earning potential through it. It can also be, like I said, just new clients coming in, so that's good. Also the spiritual thing too, like, is very much in focus, like with your desire to delve deeply into your spiritual world and to explore the more hidden things in life, things to do with healing, you know, all that stuff. It's very active for the first half of this year of 2026 for you. Once we get to, I believe it's July, and I'll get to that in a second. Let me just check that. Oh yeah, so from July 10th, there's a shift then for more growth coming into just where you're headed with your personal path and what you're doing with your personal path, just in a more bold kind of strong way. And whereas before that, so from now till July 10th, it's more behind the scenes, doing spiritual work, behind the scenes healing work. Things are probably, you know, going well in those areas, but it's maybe not popping off as much as you want it to, which it will after July 10th, or it has more potential to do so after July 10th. So just to know that. Now the North Node this year for you, and the North Node shows where your destiny is this year and what's in focus in your destiny this year. It's continuing through from now through the relationship part of your chart. It will be there all year, for the whole year until January, February next year, even further past that. So this is a year where your relationships with others, your one-to-one important relationships like family members, any relationships that are people that are close to you, you know, close friends, things like that, these are going to be important. These are going to be in focus in some way, and clients as well. So again, there's the energy of connecting with people that you already know, and maybe, you know, bringing in new clients for work and for your business stuff as well. So it's a very strong year to connect with other people and it be related to business. So that's actually fantastic for you, I think. Now the South Node energy is where the energy kind of is maybe feeling a little bit drained in some way, and it's coming into your first house now. So what that can mean is, if you're feeling drained or depleted at times, you know, it's in the sign of Virgo here, so it's about looking at routines and things and rituals, maybe whatever that is for you, whether it's a sea salt bath at the end of a hard work day, or, you know, going out in nature and all those things that you love to do, implementing those things so that you don't get drained. So you might find, oh, I'm getting really drained with this spiritual work, and you know, sometimes it's a phase that we go through, and it's just might be peaking a little bit this year at times. But what I'm saying here is, you know, if you're implementing some things that can help you to release toxic energy out of your system, it's all about releasing toxins with the South Node in Virgo, so that you can feel this sense of, I'm feeling clearer, I'm not feeling bogged down by heavy energies. You know, clearing that out is so important for you this year with the South Node. Mostly in Virgo, it goes a little bit into Leo towards the very end of 2026. And when it goes into Leo for you, it will still be in your first house, which is anything to do with old ego constructs in your identity. You'll be releasing those in some way, okay? So it's going to be interesting. It could be like a paradigm shift for you in how you feel in yourself as an individual, you know. So, and you could also be letting go of certain things that you were attached to in some way to do with other people from the past. So that, like, past connections, past people that you just like you know, sometimes we have to let go, and it's like you trust the universe and you're like, I'm not going to try and hold on to this or be prideful or try to force connection. I'm not saying you normally do that, but it might be something that's coming up for you in some way, okay? Like a purging of an old way of being or an old way of holding on to connections. Okay, so these are just some of the overall things. Now, great news for your numerology, because you're going to be in an 8 numerological cycle. So we look at your birth and your birthday and your month, and you add that together and you add that with the cycle of the year. So that changes for you on your birthday in February and goes into an 8. So you've been in a 7 last year and you're still in that until your birthday in February now in 2026. So your birthday's soon. Happy birthday for the 23rd, by the way, Joe. Hope you have a great birthday. Just around the corner. So it's great for the 8. The 8's wonderful to attract really good financial opportunities, you know, things that can really allow you to save a lot more money than, you know, if you feel like, oh, I haven't really been saving much this year or whatever it is. That's an opportunity. Or maybe you want to invest money in something, you know, that can be something that you do in the next 12 months from February this year to February 2027. Another way this can manifest is you're attracting more abundance in other ways. You're attracting, you know, like I said before, more clients, more momentum in the business world, in the financial area of your life. Also, the 8 is a very intense energy, so it can be sometimes feeling a bit of power struggles with others in the 8, because you become very aware of your own need for empowerment, your own sense of empowerment on a new level, right? And so even if you are empowered in yourself, this can sort of drive it to a new level. And so it's about having that in balance, you know, the ego and the higher self and all that stuff. And sometimes it can be a time that's very like a bit highly strung with other people a little bit, you know, and you do have the Pluto still, you know, it's in your 7th house of relationships, and it is going over your North Node this year. I'll talk about that later, but that energy is also to do with power and power struggles. So it's about being aware of that and how that can manifest and processing that too. But overall, the 8 is amazing for finance, so it should be good for that. All right, let me see. Yeah, so lots of blessings coming in from support from others, connection with others, and, you know, like key synchronistic people that are meant to be in your life, that sort of thing. All right, let's talk about February then. All right, I'm just going to sip some water. Okay, so Feb. Now, I know we're already in Feb, so I started from the 10th. So you do have, for all the month of February, a focus on your relationships. And this is, you know, underlined by the fact that you've got the Pluto conjunct North Node transit in your 7th house in Aquarius. And it's going to be active from February 10th to the 19th of March in terms of like pretty much exactly on, or, you know, hovering around that degree. So February 10th to 19th of March could bring up some intensity for you around relationships. This can be a myriad of things, potentially, of how it manifests. Be careful of power struggles with other people that have a lot of power, or that seem to have power over you in some way, or that where the power dynamics lie in situations. Sometimes people can be saying things that, you know, about you that is not true, or that it's like not a deception, a betrayal. So watch out for betrayal type energy. And these things are destined. Like, there's not a lot that we can do when we have a Pluto North Node transit, except try to keep our head on straight and try not to overreact. Get the support that you need if you're dealing with something difficult around, you know, you mentioned family crisis last year. This could be a remnant of something that's related to that in some way, because this is that kind of energy still. Now, you had Pluto on the descendant last year, which, you know, had a heaviness to it, and there could have been a lot of drama around relationships, or a relationship with a particular person. There could have been a lot of fear as well, or worry or stress, you know, that kind of thing. It could have been maybe even a feeling of something, fear of loss or a loss, you know, and that energy, even though you had Pluto descendant, and that's one thing, and I'm describing that energy, but Pluto North Node isn't that different. The only thing that's different is this is a destiny thing that is meant to bring growth for you, right? So with the North Node involved, the North Node activates our destined lessons. So this is a destiny around learning something very, very deep about power in relationships, about this energy of measuring and being strategic with your interactions with others. That's a big one. I really have to emphasize being strategic with people that have power or with situations, to really thoroughly think about, and, you know, if you need to get advice, you know, whatever it is about that. So, you know, it's a heavy energy. It really is. There's nothing I can say that really is going to make you feel like a whole lot better. The only thing I can say is ultimately it's going to empower you, and you will get a lot of growth out of it. But while you're in it, you know, while it's active this year, and it is very strong, February 10th to 19th of March, it could feel like a big emotional either release or emotionally, or it could feel like there's something happening that feels out of your control to do with another person's influence in your life in some way. So yeah, I mean, look, if there's anyone new coming into your life around the time, I'd be very careful, you know, who I let into my life if I had such a transit. Because guaranteed there's going to be drama around that person. But sometimes these people just are in your life, or they're just already part of your life, and there's something going on with them that's heavy. You know, they're going through something and you're trying to help them, support them, but it's difficult for whatever reason. So yeah, that's intense, that one. But other than that, you know, that's kind of one of the most intense things you have. Everything else, you know, I feel is quite manageable. But we'll continue on. So all of February, you also have progressed moon sextile natal Venus. So that's good. That shows that you're being assisted, you're being helped, and you're being helped by your friends and people that you know. And so it's important to connect with people in the friendship group area of your life, wherever you've got group connections, spiritual groups, friendship groups, or just people that know you very well, that are close. It would be close friends, I would say, or close connections. For all of February, it's like these people can support you if you need support, and vice versa. You know, it can be mutual as well. Just back to the Pluto North Node thing, I did mention the dates where it's exact February 10th to 19th of March, but it can drag either side, okay? Meaning you can feel it obviously before and after a little bit, but that's when it's exact. Okay, so just checking one thing. Yeah, so when you've got the Pluto North Node, there is a wide square to your Mars in Taurus, which is in a part of the chart to do with friendships, long distance connections, paperwork, can be legal stuff as well, potentially. There's a wide square to that, so that could activate a little bit this feeling of concern around, you know, in the mind. Like your mind can be really prone to feeling stressed out with that Pluto North Node 1 from February 10th to 19th of March. So if you're feeling that, look after your mental health this year. You know, it's really important. And get that support through the friend group connections, because it is going to help. All right, 16th of Feb to 16th of April. This is like interesting because it's some kind of decision or communication from someone that you know. This is not a heavy energy. It's like a lighter energy, but it is a decision or a deciding about something, or someone tells you some news, or you hear about something, or you get, you know, a letter or an email or a text or a call, or you think to yourself, you know, this is what I'm going to do about this situation. It might be in connection to the other stuff going on. It could absolutely be, because it's sort of around those dates. But this one in itself is not bad. It's just that it's showing you're getting some kind of clarity, which is good. You know, you're probably going to need some kind of clarity at that time about something. There is a decision made, news, or something communicated to you of importance that's going to help you make a decision. And there's also your intuitions connected to this as well. So you'll know what that is. 16th of February to 16th of April. What you're thinking at that time is connected to some kind of decision or choices, or a choice. Now, February 17th is a solar eclipse, total solar eclipse on 28 degrees of Aquarius. This, because it's late Aquarius and your sun is early Pisces, your sun degree, it is right on your sun in your 7th house. This can go many different ways with the solar eclipse landing on your sun. You know, it's in your relationship part of your chart again. So obviously relationships are really in focus for you in February in a big way. It is trine your moon, so thank God for that. You know, that's a positive thing that's helping. And it's sextile your progressed sun. So again, all other indicators here are more on the positive. So I would say that there's some kind of development with regards to a key person in your life, or a relationship, or someone close to you. that could be something that you get some kind of emotional relief, or some answer comes to you about something that allows for some kind of emotional progress, I would say. Now, solar eclipses, they're usually new beginnings. They're not as emotionally intense usually as a lunar eclipse. So that's a solar. And the solar eclipse energy on that date, the 17th of Feb, just keep in mind it does have effects for the next 3 to 6 months in some way in your life. Not intensively, but you'll see something play out there. So it's like the seed of it, or the beginning of it, February 17th. Let's go to March. Okay. All right, so from March onwards, for the next 21 months, your progressed moon, which is how your emotions are evolving, because your natal moon is Gemini, your progressed moon is actually in Gemini too. It's got back to that place. So, but it just shows how your emotions are evolving, and it shows a really strong focus for you in the 11th house of friends and groups. Okay, so that says that for the next 21 months, you do have, actually let me double check that. It's more 15 months. Okay, sorry, I have to just, there's a specific shift there that happens. 15 months, sorry, from March. Focus on friends and groups in a big way. So connecting with people. Again, this keeps coming up for you. Like, your connections are so important this year. The friends you make, you know, the people coming into your life, the clients, acquaintances, people that, you know, are saying, oh, you know, I know someone that can help you with this. All these things are just going to be so much importance for the next 15 months, okay? 3rd of March, there is then a total lunar eclipse, 12 degrees of Virgo, that's in your first house of yourself. And even though you've got Leo on the first house, you also have a bit of Virgo on the second part of the first house for you. So that's your path, your work, being of service, and something maybe that, with the lunar eclipse, it's a letting go, okay? So something maybe that you're letting go of, where you were helping someone with something. That could be how it manifests. Or something that was part of your routine that you just think, you know what, I don't know if I can keep doing this particular part of my routine, or health or work related, letting something go. And so maybe it's something that you sort of, it looks more like something was involved with another person, helping someone or being part of something with somebody. Or it could be a, you know, a connection with someone that you've put a lot of effort into. Maybe you're just looking at that and going, you know, I have to let go. So if that's the case, that would be normal. If there's something with work, it could be a letting go of something with work as well, and or, you know, something like that. But something is shifting in that area for you around that lunar eclipse. Be aware the 3rd of March, the lunar eclipses, they can feel a bit emotional. And you can feel a bit drained because it's in your first house of your physical vitality. So I would say, because of the eclipses even starting from just before February 17th, when that solar eclipse starts, make sure you're boosting your immune health and looking after your health, because those eclipses are happening in quite sensitive parts of your chart. And especially that one in March, at the 3rd of March, that's a more physical body energy as well. So you could feel a bit drained with that. If you do feel drained, you know, don't be hard on yourself. It happens with these things sometimes. It usually lasts a few days. 12th of March to the 4th of April, you do have Saturn lining up with your progressed Mercury. So this can be where you're feeling some kind of structure is needed around tackling something of importance, some important paperwork, an important decision perhaps. But this is also the energy of you're really wanting to prioritize your mental focus for important things, and you really are not going to have time for other people's drama. So you're going to be like, you know what, I need to switch my phone off for 2 hours while I focus on this, or whatever it is. You know, there's this sense of like getting laser focused to tackle something or to deal with something. Just be careful from the 12th of March to the 4th of April that you're not over worrying and you're not overburdening your mind with, you know, negative thoughts, fears and things like that, because this energy can make you feel more pessimistic, because it's Saturn. Saturn does that, but we can control these things. You know, when it's our mind getting influenced, you'll feel it, but you just have to keep bringing yourself back to positivity and know this is temporary, whatever you're feeling mentally, from the 12th of March to the 4th of April. It can be a good energy where you, if you need to cut people off that have been draining you, it can be great for that, because it becomes much easier, because you don't have any qualms about it. You know, you don't feel sorry for them as much as you might have before, because a transit helps you get really cut and dry and go, that's it, I'm done. You just cut them off. And sometimes we have to do that with people that are just persistent pests or persistent drainers. You know, there's people that just, you know, bombard you with multi-text and it's always negative, you know, or whether it's a family member or so-called friend, whatever it is. Just that type of thing, you know. And it can be sometimes our own negative thoughts that we say to ourselves, you know what, I'm sick of worrying about this, I'm sick of worrying what other people think, I'm done with that, I'm starting a new mental health regime and just going to get really focused on meditation. It could be that as well, but it's definitely a good energy to cut things out that are extraneous, that you do not need, that are just draining your energy or wasting your time. 27th of March to 26th of May, a bit of a shake-up energy with Uranus conjunct Saturn in your 10th house of career. This shows changes coming in your career in some way. It could be sudden. There could be sudden changes at work, sudden changes in the way that you move through the world for some reason. Now, it's in Gemini, which is about communication, news, information coming in. Maybe there's something new happening with the way something's happening with your work situation. Or the 10th house is also to do a parental house, so it can be something to do with a parent or parenting. I know you're a parent, so it could be something like that, where there's a big change or a shift. It's something that's very destined here with Uranus and Saturn conjunct each other. You know, in one way, because it's a conjunction, it could be liberating in some way. You know, there could be, first it feels disruptive, then it's liberating. Or maybe a boss, say, for example, a boss leaves and you're like, oh, I couldn't stand that person. You know, I feel liberated, right? It could be that. It can be anything like that, but it looks like it's it is in the area to do with career. And like I said, parents, parenting, long-term goals as well. So it can be something where you shift in regards to a long-term plan or a business goal. That could also shift direction. So expect some unexpected shifts from the 27th of March to 26th of May, but meant to be. Ultimately liberating. 28th of March to the 23rd of April, Neptune trines your ascendant. This is a spiritualizing influence, which is actually quite, in a way, a very nice transit, because it helps you tap into your creativity and your intuition in a very flowy way. So if you already feel like you're tapped into your intuition, this is going to another level in an easy, nice way. Now, the only thing I say be careful of, because you are feeling more open and compassionate in one way, and in your energy field as well, can be more open spiritually. You could start picking up on like a lot of psychic stuff and be like, whoa, you know, what was that? It just came out of the blue. Something like that could be going on for you, and it could feel in one way really fascinating and amazing and creative and stimulating. In another way, it could sometimes feel slightly overwhelming. But what I would say is also, you know, because you are more open, be careful who you trust when you have Neptune trying to send it, because you tend to be more compassionate. And because it goes all the way to the 23rd of April, you have that strong-mindedness that I said before from the 12th of March to 4th of April with Saturn on your progressed Mercury. But that finishes on the 4th of April. This one, I would say between the 5th and the 23rd of April, just be careful, like, of being too open, because it could end up being draining, okay, with people. But it's almost like this energy of Neptune trying to send it in fire signs. It's like the peaceful warrior energy. I feel like you're going to be embodying that sort of energy. Maybe you already do, but it could be like taking it to another alchemized, interesting spiritual level for you. All right, so April, not as much, and then May gets super busy, and so does June. But for April, there's you have transiting Jupiter from your 12th house of your spirituality and behind the scenes stuff. Also can be travel sometimes. Square Uranus, which you have that in your 2nd house of earned money. So this could be where there's an unexpected opportunity that's offered to you, but potentially to do something spiritual, to earn money from something, you know, new in the spiritual world for you, or something that you've done before is possible. 15th to the 25th. The only thing is, it looks like maybe because it's a square aspect, which is not so bad because Jupiter and Uranus, not so bad, but it can just be where you are trying to work out how you can fit something in that you really want to do and make time for it. And I think it'll be worthwhile if you do, but go with your intuition, because, you know, your own intuition always knows best, and things will happen as they're meant to, you know. So I feel like that's a bit of an exciting, kind of unexpected energy coming up with something new in the spiritual aspect of things for you, and it could be to do with physical healing, or it could be having some financial benefit. I'm not sure if that got cut off because my camera cuts off every 30 minutes, so I have to start another one. I was just saying that there could be a financial spirit and or spiritual benefit to the 15th to the 25th transit. Okay, moving on. April 22nd to 10th of May. Transiting Chiron, conjunct progress Sun. So, okay, this one is, you know, a little bit difficult in some way, but ultimately healing, you know. So it's like, this is in a spiritual house for you. It's to do with also overseas connections, maybe overseas travel. It wouldn't be the best time, I would say, to travel overseas, only if there's something really spiritual to do with it. It could be, but because it's Chiron, it could make you feel vulnerable. So just, you know, I mean, be aware that if you do travel, I'm not saying don't, you know, it's up to you. I don't like to tell people what to do, but if you do travel for some reason, it could be, you could feel vulnerable in some way. I mean, look, say for example, someone could have this transit and they're going to go do ayahuasca, and that's like something that does make you vulnerable, but there's a spiritual healing in it, say for example. I'm not necessarily advocating for that. I've never done it, but I'm just giving an example of what could come up, you know. Or it could be, you know, there's something that you're being tested with, to do with your beliefs, to do with your perspective on things, to do with what stance you're taking on something against somebody else, or to do with somebody else, or in your workspace, or to do with your decisions. And it might be coming up for healing for you, and stuff is coming up that's to do with your personal empowerment and speaking your truth. That's a big one. So that's 22nd of April to 10th of May. Definitely around speaking one's truth and anything like that can be coming up. It's really, I would say, like I say, I don't like to tell people what to do, but it's not the best time to go on an adventure or do something really difficult, because you're feeling very vulnerable with this energy on some level. Or you might not be feeling very vulnerable, you might be feeling somewhat vulnerable, you know. So yeah, and that's it for April. Wasn't a lot there. So, and look, that doesn't mean that nothing's happening. Those are just the key transits that are standout energies. May, on the other hand, there's a barrage of things. Oh my gosh, where do I even start? Okay, so 8th to the 16th of May. This is a nice one. Jupiter trine IC. Very nice. So from the spiritual part of your chart to your emotions, you should feel a sense of a lot of peace from the 8th to the 16th of May. So that's something to look forward to. Inner peace. Something could have been healed with a family member. Something could have been healed in a deep conversation with someone really close to you. This is something to, like I say, to look forward to. Very healing spiritually. It could even be your own healing on an emotional level occurs because of something. It is triggering in the area to do with family background, ancestral healing, family members, people closest to you, people you live with, home life, and your spiritual life. So deep healing potential. But also, you know, like I say, it could be to do with a particular family member, or something to do with the healing of how you feel safe in the world, you know. So that's really nice. 9th to the 29th of May. You have a Saturn influence here. That could be making you feel a little bit stressed around your work situation or around your personal goals. So just be aware of that. It's not a bad energy. It's just like a hard working, kind of having to push a little bit. Just with this energy, 9th to the 29th of May, you could feel a bit of frustration around deadlines or getting things done. You could feel very busy. You could feel like, oh, I've got so much work to do. How am I going to get through everything? Just take it all a step at a time. Definitely recommend not rushing through anything with this, because Saturn is always asking us to do things properly and thoroughly and methodically. And you'll get there, you know, just really pace yourself with things. And it is a time to be disciplined and focused as well, from the 9th to the 29th with the work area, or with your career goals and things like that. Let's see, from the 13th of May to the 31st of May, really nice transit you have with Uranus trine your natal Pluto. Wow, that's a good one. So that's from your career and goals area to your earned money area, so and your physical body as well, and your sense of like self-esteem and value. This is really good transit. 13th to 31st of May is something to look forward to there. There could be money coming unexpectedly, and it could be very helpful to you just when you need it for something. But other than that, other than the financial, you should be feeling quite strong and confident in yourself, especially around what you've got to offer in the career space and business stuff. You could be getting some really good flow of positive energy coming your way, which is lovely. Love that. 19th of May to June 10th, you have, sorry, one second. Sorry, give me a second. No, just scrap that one. Sorry, that's an error. My bad. What am I up to next? 31st of May. Sorry, Joe. 31st of May to June 19th. Uranus sextile your ascendant. Wow, that's a good one. So this is very liberating in some way. Even though sextiles are more gentle energy, it is going to help you feel from the 31st of May to June 19th that you're in a flow of some kind, that things are like synchronistically, yeah, like I said before, but this is a different one. This is really your path. Like you find the perfect parking spot exactly where you need it at the perfect spot. It's like, whoa, the angels are really helping me out today. But this is from like 31st of May for June 19th, so it's a couple of weeks. Very lucky energy around you then, very blessed energy. Things can work out magically with this like grace from the universe with that transit. That's a good one. You can also feel quite good in yourself physically, and like there's a little bit of a lightness in your step, or a feeling like it's not too frustrating to, you know, get through things. It's feeling like, okay, I got through that frustrating period from 9th to 29th of May, and then the 31st of May to 19th of June is much lighter for you. So that's good to know after that hard work aspect that you had. All right. Then from May 29th to August 18th, you do have transiting Neptune conjunct your progressed Mercury in the 8th house, which is a deep house. Now, I would say with this, you do have to be careful of financial scams, and these ones could be really clever ones, so be very cautious with anything financial that seems a bit questionable, or emails that you get, any kind of scams really, emails or text messages that you get that seems like it's from your bank, but just I would double check and not give anyone any info and stuff like that. But just be careful, because your mind can be a little bit, in one way you're going to be very psychic on a deep intuitive level, very psychic now. From May 29th to August 18th, it's peaking. But you could also be in touch with some deeper energies that you're not expecting to be in touch with. Sometimes, because this is Aries in the 8th house, it could be a little bit of, have a dark edge to it. Maybe you're drawn to certain stories online that have a bit of a dark edge, and you're like, whoa, what's this rabbit hole I'm going down? This is getting a bit much here. So just be aware of that if it's getting too much. How else this can play out is having your mind run away with itself with, you know, crazy fears and things that are just illusions, you know. So be careful of your mind getting, you know, the difference between intuition, like you'll feel it in your gut if it's an intuition, in your body as a knowing, but your mind, if it's racing, or if you're like just sitting there and you're in your head and you're worrying, just, I would say, don't pay attention of over excessive worrying and stressy thoughts and negative thoughts, because this type of transit can really bring out some weird thoughts, you know, like random. It's like, you could say to yourself, why am I suddenly worrying about something just because I watched a movie about it? You know, like it could be that, something like, you know, that you experienced when you were younger, and you're like, oh my God, I shouldn't have watched that true crime thing just before bed. Now I'm freaking out, you know, just stuff like that. You have to actually be careful of, because the mind is so much more sensitive and a bit more fragile when Neptune goes over the progressed Mercury in such a deep part of the chart. Also, this can be a time, Joe, from May 29th to August 18th. It's a long period, really, for a transit, is to boost your brain health. So anything to do with brain health, like, you know, obviously, you know, you work in that type of world of like lion's mane, you know, things that boost the brain health, omegas, DHA, all those things, you know, that can be very helpful, because you could start to feel like, why am I so forgetful all of a sudden? Neptune transits with Mercury are just undeniable for the person feeling a little bit forgetful. But, you know, it depends. It's a lot of people experience forgetfulness or like short-term memory issues in that period while they've got the Neptune transit, or it can be sleeplessness, and then you feel like the next day you can't think clearly, you know, so sleep could be getting affected as well. That could be another thing. But whatever's happening for you, know that it is because of this influence, and it is affecting the mind, but it's temporary. So, you know, end of May to August 18th, maybe during that time you look at things to boost your brain health, or you look at things to meditate, in relating to meditation, or mental focus, or mental discipline, or making sure that you're not slipping into negative thoughts, you know, all those things. It's an interesting transit though. All right, June 11th to the 27th, Saturn is making a positive angle to your progressed Venus and Mars Okay, and so for that, let me see. Yep, so that's in the career area for you. Yep. And in the area of to do with your goals and ambitions. So this is showing from the 11th to the 27th, there is hard work, but it's going to be paying off for you. So think more, it's going to pay off long term. So once you get through the work that you're doing, then it pays off after that, once you've done the work, the bulk of work. And remember to, with Saturn, always do things methodically and don't rush through. There may be a tendency to rush because Saturn in Aries with progressions in Gemini, which are very restless and tend to find it hard to be patient. So 11th to the 27th of June, just be patient, and with any work that's hard work, and you will get through and it'll be rewarded later on. Now this one's an interesting one. That's a very strong transit. Okay, so 18th of June to 9th of July, you have Uranus square your Sun. Because Uranus is going to be in Gemini, your Sun's in Pisces, square aspect, and that's from your career and goals, and also parental houses square your Sun in the 7th house of relationships. So this is showing there is tension between yourself and others, either on the job with bosses or people that have authority. You know, you're dealing with clients and they have authority, and they might be being difficult or unpredictable, or they might say, yes, I'm going to meet you at this time. They don't show up, and you just have a few of these things between 18th of June and 9th of July. Just be prepared for that. And the tip with that is just be flexible, and I think you're pretty flexible because you are a Gemini moon with Pisces. It's a mutable energy, means you know how to be adaptable. You know how to, you know, do things off the cuff and like think on your feet quickly and make decisions quickly and change things around. You're good at that. So this is kind of testing you on that level, which can be a bit annoying even if you are good at it. But just knowing it's there is one of those things that will help you. Things are going to be a little bit unexpected. You know, some unexpected developments can crop up with work, career, and potentially family or relationship things. So if you're dating people, I would say not the best time to date between the 18th of June and 9th of July, or slightly either side of that, because the person or the people that you're meeting are going to be a bit erratic there. They might be a bit offbeat in a weird way that kind of is jarring to you. It's not going to be, if you're meeting new people, it's not going to be feeling great. And because you've got Pluto in a very sensitive point in your 7th house, you know, for meeting people this year, the energy is not the best for it. I'm not saying don't meet people. It's more the friends where it's positive, and the acquaintances and the people that are going to help you with business. But with relationships, it could be like personal, one-on-one, romantic can be a bit dicey or a bit obsessive and a bit full on, a bit too much. You know, if you're not looking for that intense obsessive energy, it's not the best energy for you. Also, I want to say with the Pluto North Node stuff and the Pluto energy this year, and you're very strongly activating, I might have mentioned this to you last year as well. Be careful of contracts and signing on the dotted line, because that's where Pluto can be really problematic with things that you're signing, the paperwork, documents, important things, you know, things like that. Could be, make sure you're getting them checked. If you are signing, you know, get it thoroughly checked by another party and stuff like that. Maybe you know, a couple of people checking something for you if it's anything serious or that has, you know, future implications that are important. Anyway, I digress. But June 20th to the 18th of September, Chiron will go into Taurus. Now, this doesn't directly contact, not directly yet, but it is squaring your ascendant in Leo and it is in your 9th house, from your 9th house of your mind, your perspective on things. And the 9th house can sometimes be like contracts or paperwork or solicitors, things like that, you know, where you have to get another party involved or something legal. So just be cautious with anything to do with legal matters, I would say. But this is something that is active from June 20th to the 18th of September, but it doesn't actually exactly square your 2-degree Leo rising until 2027, like further into 2027, okay? So you don't have to worry about it yet. You might just feel some tension in the level of mind, or worries about the future, or worries about where am I going to live, what am I going to do, you know, with this, with that in my life. You know, these big questions that you may have might start to feel some element of fragility, or some element of, I just don't know if I've got the energy for that. You know, I need to make some big changes, but I don't know if I want to do that. you know, and there's a bit of maybe waiting and seeing, but every now and then it could sort of, from that time period, from June 20th to 18th of September, it could sort of wane in and out of your awareness, like some worries or fears. So just be aware of your mental, your outlook and your mental health and how you're looking at life. Try not to over worry, because like I say, it's coming in, but it's not activated fully yet. It's not exact yet until further into 2027. So just something to be aware of if you're feeling a bit vulnerable mentally. That is why, because of Chiron going to Taurus. But it only goes to 0 degrees this year, so your degree that's influenced is 2 degrees, so which affects your ascendant and your relationship point. That's more something for mid to late next year. Okay. What are we up to? 27th of June to 26th of August. Saturn gets to 14 degrees of Aries. Your Venus, which is relationships for you and also your money, is at 15 of Aries. So you will feel it because it is 1 degree away. You will absolutely feel it. This is a time from 27th of June to 26th of August where responsibilities really come into focus. Finances, how you're working your money, what you're investing your money in, things like taxes, you know, complicated financial stuff, you know, anything that you have to do, like dealing with tax, like an accountant or something. These things could come into focus for you. There's a sense of maybe a lot, like a seriousness around financial decisions or financial choices or paperwork and things like that related to finances. But it's also about boundaries as well, and having boundaries with others. When it comes to relationships, you are feeling more serious. You don't want to waste your time with anyone that's just kind of on a light energy or not really wanting, you know, what you want. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're ready for a full-on relationship, though you might be, but you're kind of like feeling more scrutinizing towards relationships and more, this person better show me from the get-go that they've got this and this and this in their character, because if they don't, I'm not interested. Very cut and dry energy, very serious, and that's how it's meant to be. So you might change your feeling about relationships around that time, 27th of June to 27th of August, and you could feel like you're just not interested in relationships. You focus more on financial things and your stability and things like that. July 7th to the 13th, 7th to the 31st of July, a good transit with Uranus making a positive angle to your Mercury. So hang on a second, let me double check. That is your progressed Mercury. Yeah, progressed. I did write that, but I missed it. Okay, just make it clearer there. So yeah, this is helpful to you. This is some kind of opportunity coming your way through your career, work, and it's got a financial opportunity connected to it, but it may not fall into your lap. You'll probably have to go seek it out or connect with the right person to get the answers, or sort of be at the right place at the right time and overhear something and you're like, oh, you got to jump on it, sort of thing. That kind of energy possibly. Or someone says to you, I've got an opportunity for you, and then you end up following up with them and they go, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, let's meet, and you're kind of helping initiate it along. That's from the 7th to the 31st of July. Next one, this is a really good transit. This is a lovely transit for you. 10th to the 18th. I know it's a short period, unfortunately, but it's always short with this Jupiter on the ascendant. Jupiter in Leo goes right on your ascendant. This is a great time to earn extra money. It can be very blessed, very lucky. You can feel very upbeat and happy. Good time to travel if you want to travel then. Actually, July, you've got pretty good transits overall for travel. So yeah, because you've got another Jupiter transit. You've got Jupiter trine your progressed Mercury as well. Mercury is related to travel, but it's also in a money house for you as well. So there could be money opportunities. It could be a time of earning more extra money coming. Just good vibes in July. All of August to October, you have Uranus opposite Neptune. That's an interesting one. It can be where there's some kind of tension between your career and your spiritual inner world. Maybe you feel like you're kind of in two worlds, like doing like a certain type of work, and then at home you're just doing a different type of work, and back and forth. That's active all of August to October, to the beginning of October. But it's more of a subtle one. It's not like anything usually very obtrusive or really, really strong, but everyone's different with how they feel things. It could be just where you feel that you are juggling two different aspects of your life, your spiritual life and your work life, and changes at work and things like that. August 12th, there's a solar eclipse. that solar eclipse is in Leo, and it does make a harmonious aspect to your moon, which is good. So emotionally it's positive for you, but it is making a challenging aspect to your career area. So that could make you feel, and that's an exact square actually to your career area. So you could feel that there's a new beginning happening that's emotionally beneficial for you, but you feel like career-wise it's kind of maybe throwing you off with your career for some reason. Not sure why. Emotionally you feel good, but like career-wise you might be like, ugh, I'm just not, could be bothered with work right now, I'm just not in the mood for it, you know, it could be that. So, but there is something that you are, let me just see again, that you are growing towards in your life with this solar eclipse August 12th, that will be coming in more visible for you in the next 3 to 6 months, and that it's going to be beneficial for you on the level of your connections with other people, your mostly friendships and group work. If you're doing anything group related with your business stuff, it's going to be good for that. But maybe current job could be, or something else going on with your goals could be slightly clashing in some way. But adjustments are needed basically, and then it, you know, it can be something that you work through and you work it out. 27th to the 30th of August, bit of a difficult transit with Mars square Chiron. It is in very sensitive houses. 27th to the 30th of August. Be careful of what men you trust, because there could be a jarring energy around you, or someone acting in a petulant or difficult way. And look, it could be someone you already know. It could even be a family member, because it is Mars in Cancer. It could be a male family member that's causing a bit of problems for that couple of days, or stressing you out, or there's stress around them and it's worrying you. But just also be careful of men behind the scenes, because it is in your 12th house of hidden enemies. So look, it doesn't necessarily mean that, but it can be that. Just be careful if you're like walking somewhere late at night, you've parked in an obscure area, just be cautious. It's not the best time to do stuff like that, to just sort of throw caution to the wind. It's not, from the 27th to the 30th, or around those, either side of those dates, say the 26th to the 31st of August. More caution is warranted dealing with male people. There could be aggression around. And also watch out for anything to do with rushing around, because that could also affect you physically in some way. Okay, like, you know, you don't want to twist your ankle or something like that, because Mars is fast action and Chiron in Aries is impatient. So yeah, it could be something like that, but I feel like it's more to do with tension with a male person. 27th of August to 30th September, you might be feeling a bit more tired because you have Mars going through your 12th house. That could make you feel a bit sensitive on the level of your inner being, your private inner thoughts, your mental health. You might just need more rest at this time. You know, it is a good time to take more rest from the 27th of August to the 30th of September in particular. Yeah, so I know that's a long period, the end of August to 30th September. It's about a month, but that's can also be when your physical health is a bit sensitive as well. So make sure, you know, you're looking after your health leading up to those dates. What's the other one? There's a partial lunar eclipse I forgot to mention. This is on the 28th of August. This is right on your natal sun and your Mercury in your relationship area. So because it's a lunar eclipse, it could be a bit emotional, Joe. That's on the 28th of August. That one is a releasing around a relationship connection. So, you know, when I say releasing, it could be anything from having to let go of someone going to travel overseas and you're saying goodbye, you know, someone that's having some struggles in their life and it's emotional. You know, it could be something like that, but it does emphasize the energy of letting go here in some way. So that's all I can say about it, because, you know, there's only so much you can see with astrology, but it is the last eclipse of 2026 and it does happen to be on a very sensitive point, like pretty much almost 1 degree away from the exact conjunction of your sun and your Mercury. So yeah, it could be emotional for you. Okay, so just be aware that leading up to that lunar eclipse on the 28th, you might feel emotional, and that's okay. You know, there could be a sense of needing to release those tears about something, and, you know, whatever it is. But, you know, and if it's a relationship that's not working out and you have to let go, well, that will be for, you know, higher reasons as well. Always with eclipses, it's very destined also. September, all month, you have your progressed lunar return. So that's a very important emotional time for you, in the sense of What are you feeling about your future? Because it's in that part of your chart of what do I want for myself going forward next. And so it could be like some new ideas are percolating in September. Your social connections are really important in September. And there could be new friends that you meet. There could be new connections that you make. Again, this new connections in groups and friends really keeps coming up the whole year. So strong. You could really meet important friendship or business connections this year that really help you in the future. Very strong energy for that. September looks good because you also have a very nice transit with, you're probably saying, thank God, something nice. You do have some nice things scattered in. Like we all have challenges. We all have positive and negative. You know, it's always like that. 6th to the 17th of September, Jupiter trine Venus. Okay, lovely transit. So this is great for things just going really smoothly for you. And again, the friendship area, the deep connections area of your chart, your finances, close connections, but also your path, like how you're moving forward in your path. There's a sense of progress anyway, which is really positive, and it can be financially positive. Okay, a few more minutes to finish off this part, and then I'm going to do the cards. Oh, actually, I might have to start another video because there's still much more. Okay, October. So in October, you are coming out of a bit of a heaviness that was in August. Okay, so you're going to feel a bit more of an uplift and a bit more of a energy coming out to the world more. So you're getting out and about more. You're feeling energized. August probably makes sense with the weather because usually that's cold winter. And October is the spring. So actually interesting the timing, how that works out. But Mars is going to your first house. That's the house of you, your path, your energy, your physical vitality. And Mars charges our energy right up. So you should be feeling much more vital and energized, wanting to go for walks, enjoying the nature, you know, summer energy, sort of feeling that coming on a little bit, springtime flowers, all that beautiful stuff. So I think you'd be feeling quite good. Now, overall, there is another significant transit with the Venus retrograde in Scorpio. So that for you is happening because of the degrees. It's happening over your third house of communications, friendships, neighbors, extended relatives. You could be rethinking a connection or a communication, or the way you've been communicating with someone in a relationship or with a connection with a friend. And you might be reevaluating a friendship. That's very possible, or reevaluating a connection with a neighbor or someone in your local area that you always bump into. You maybe you're thinking, do I really want to hang out with that person? I don't know. Maybe you meet someone through your daily work or your day-to-day errands or whatever, and you're like, they're nice, but I'm just not sure. Like something like that could be going on. But with the Venus retrograde, not Mercury retrograde, I don't talk about the Mercury retrogrades because they happen 3 times a year and it's just Mercury. It's not that significant, but Venus can be quite significant. Yeah, so that one for you, it's this reevaluation of a connection and communication. You might be revisiting an old conversation in your head from something that happened a while ago and you're really processing it. You're looking for clarity on how you feel about a particular situation or connection or relationship. And more clarity will come from November 14th when Venus goes direct, okay? That's when after that time, you can expect things to settle down in your mind. You won't be so overthinking at all, okay? All right, and then October 4th to 13th is great for your career. You have Jupiter square midheaven. That's always a positive transit. It's usually some good news coming back, a win, you know, some kind of achievement, possibly with career or goals. Something good is happening there. If there's something you want to manifest in October, it can happen between the 4th to the 13th, or in September, it can happen from the 4th to the 13th of October. November, you don't have a lot in November, just a couple of things there. Just one main thing, actually. So all of November, your progressed Mercury is sandwiched between Saturn and Neptune. Yeah, so that's in your 8th house of deep thoughts and things going on a deep internal level. So maybe you're trying to sort through something on a mental level. Watch mental overwhelm in November though, because you may not be able to take on a lot in November because mentally you're feeling a little bit bogged down, I would say. Or there's other stuff that's taking your attention that's very important that you need to focus on, and you're kind of having to shut out other things. Watch negative thoughts in November. Do not let them get a hold of you, because it can be with Neptune on one side of your progressed Mercury and Saturn on the other. That can be very pessimistic and also confused energy. So your thoughts may be on the one hand negative but not so clear. So it's more important for you to go more to your gut level intuition at that time rather than thoughts. And if you're feeling burnt out, take a break. sorry, I was saying if you're feeling burnt out in November, take a break if you can, because things might be feeling like some kind of overwhelming stuff that's affecting your communications and your thinking in some way. Now, December looks a lot better for one part, which is the Jupiter sextile progressed moon. So that's a very nice transit. That's all month, so that does help you a lot. In December, however, you have from the 20th to the 31st, Pluto direct on your North Node, okay? So from the 20th of December to the 31st of Jan, that's when you have that one that I mentioned at the beginning of the reading, Pluto on your North Node. That can be a bit of a heavy energy. It can feel a bit overwhelming to do with some kind of relationship, whether it's a family member, someone close to you, whatever it is. There can just be heaviness going on and some intense drama going on. So just be aware that prepare for that time of year and be organized like ahead of time with things that you want to do in around Christmas, because you might feel quite overwhelmed when 20th of December comes, and just before that, 20th to 31st of January. 20th of December to the 31st of January. Pluto is on your North Node in your relationship part of your chart. I described it all before, it's intense. So January 2027. Uranus sextiles your ascendant again. Again, the liberating energy is there. You have Chiron, sextile, progressed moon. Healing is coming in emotionally for you. Okay, so that's good. Second half of January, your progressed moon goes to 29 degrees of Gemini, which is a critical degree. But all that means for you is you might be on the edge of some kind of decision, or you might be struggling with indecision. If you are, there's an easing of feeling indecisive or feeling on the edge of making a decision by the end of February, okay, and into March. And really from the 20th of February you're going to feel, because your progressed moon goes into Cancer, and that's really just straight to the intuition, bypasses the mind completely. Coming out of that progressed moon in Gemini, bypasses the mind, goes straight to the gut instinct. And you might feel more emotional from February 20th or around leading up to February 20th even. You could feel it early with the progressed moon in Cancer. Because it is more emotional, but it's also very self-protective, and you can be very stoic. You can kind of hide your emotions very easily. I mean, you might already be like that in some way, but you can hide your emotions more easily if you need to, and then just sort of let your emotions out privately. But it shows a focus on family, and it shows a focus on close friends that feel like soul family. There's also a bit of tension with regards to there could be some tension around something financial that's to do with family issues or property or something like that, just from the 20th of February for about a month, okay? So that's all your transits. I'm going to come back with the cards after this and do the card part of the reading for you. Thanks, Jo. I'll be back in a second. Hey, Jo, I'm back. This is the card part of the reading, and I just left you that message on Instagram. So you did say also that you want to focus on, or you want to ask about soulmate and career as well. That's automatically in the question, so we will cover that. This part of the reading, same as last year, has a set of questions with it. It's always the same questions that I ask. The first question is, what are 2 key themes or 2 key areas that are going to strongly be in focus for this year for the next 12 months? Question 4 is, further down, what is happening this year with love and romance and relationships? Oh, and question 3 before that one is, what is happening with work, career and money? So those are touched on, and I delve into those with the cards. So let's do this part of the reading, which is the fun part. Okay, not that the astrology is not fun, but it's just more sheer hard work. This is more the intuitive, psychic, synchronistic part of the reading. So Jo, we're looking at 2 key themes for you this year, Jo. What do the cards show for you for this year? Now, these are 2 key themes. It's not going to show everything, obviously, but it's showing things that are going to be in some kind of important focus. I'm feeling an energy with this one, so I'm going to pull that. Ooh, solar eclipse, 44 revolution. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my book where I wrote the astrology, since they're referencing the time of a solar eclipse. There are 2 solar eclipses this year. The first one's February 17th. The second one, which is in Aquarius, the second one is August 12th, which is in Leo. Let's have a look at that. So August 12th. Let's see. I'm just going to see. I already spoke to you about it before, but just for the sake of the fact that it came up in the card. So we'll look at both solar eclipses since it's mentioning solar eclipse. This is more fiery, so I want to say this could be the Leo one that the Spirit's referring to here. So we'll go to August 12th first. Okay, so you have that solar eclipse in Leo. Wow, yeah, that's in your first house, which is your path. So that could be a time of significant positive changes, because Leo relates to independence, courage, creativity, passion, inspiration, like all these really strong positive energies. And it is a solar eclipse, which is much better than a lunar eclipse in the sense that it is a new beginning. 44 is actually a number about protection. So if you see 44 or 444, it's about protection. So that's interesting as well. And Leo is a very protective sign. Like, you're a Leo rising, so you know, you're very protective of your loved ones. You just have an instinctive, you know, desire to protect your family, protect your loved ones, protect your children. Like, you're very that way inclined. But with this energy, let's see, so it does sextile your moon. That's in your 11th house of friendship, connections, acquaintances, support from friends and people that are in your life. So I feel like that is the one that it's referencing. But I have to say, the Aquarius one on February 17th this month, just before your birthday, is also significant because it's in your relationship part of your chart. That's also on your sun. So that's going to be a significant one for you in terms of it coming up like this, destined change. So look, it could be referring to both of the eclipses, but because it's fiery looking to me, I want to focus on the August 12th one a little bit more with what's coming up here. Okay, so let's just see. I'm going to do some astro dice. What else can we find out about this eclipse energy and maybe more information on... Sorry, I didn't roll it yet. I just accidentally dropped it. What is this eclipse energy referring to for you for this year, Joe? Uranus. Oh, the Aquarius. Oh, no, wait. This is insane. Look at that. I love this. I love this so much. Look at this. This is crazy. So this one is Aquarius. One of the eclipses, the February one, is in Aquarius. This is Leo. God, you can't make this stuff up. You have both of the eclipses represented here. Wow. 12th house is trust the spiritual process that you're in with the eclipses, and Uranus is something that's unexpected with it. So because Uranus does rule Aquarius, I want to say it's actually now referencing both of the eclipses as very key times of turning point. So it's saying February 28th. Sorry, is it 28th? Oh my gosh, I'm having a mental blank because it's 28 degrees. No, it was February 17th. 28 degrees Aquarius has come up here, and the Leo one on August 12th. So those two times, those two dates, those two periods of this year are going to be very, very important for you. Okay. Also, just to note that when an angular house in the chart, such as the 7th house where you have the Aquarius one happening, that's a relationship house, it's an angular house, a very important house. And so the 7th, 10th, 1st and 4th are all very powerful houses. When you have transits or eclipses in those houses, it seems to be very destined life changes, okay, even more so, quite strong. So the Leo one's in your first house, another angular house. So this is emphasizing that very strongly here. Wow, that's really powerful. So just know you're protected with any changes happening, and it's part of your destiny that these changes happen. So it's to do with your life path and your relationships, okay? Let's see another theme for you. Can't believe Aquarius and Leo just rolled out on the dice. Unbelievable. I mean, I've been doing this work for years and it still shocks me. Like, I'm sure I've said that to you before. I can't believe it. Anyway. Oh, jumping card. Oh, that's crazy that came up. Jupiter, a great message. But the reason I said it's crazy, because when the dice, I said to you, oh, I didn't roll the dice, it just sort of dropped. That was Jupiter that I saw. How funny. Oh, I didn't show you because I wasn't ready, you know. But anyway, these had to come out. But Jupiter did come out. So Jupiter abundance. This is going to be an abundant year. Look at all that fiery energy. And how about that? Because second half of the year, Jupiter goes into a fire sign, which, what? That looks like Leo energy. Yeah, it's Jupiter, but it looks like Leo. It's very fiery. Leo's come up here as well, like I said twice. Wow, there's a lot of inspirational, intense, passionate energy. And this could be to do with relationships too. But I will say, because you do have Pluto touching a very sensitive point, the North Node in your chart, and also the Descendant point, you could meet somebody this year, but it may not be like a super long lasting relationship. It might be a very passionate, intense, can be a soul connection, but you have to be a little bit careful because there might be some red flags, or there might be some things that your intuition's like warning you about. I only say that because you have the Pluto transit. That's very strong with the Pluto North Node, and sometimes that can trigger like meeting someone where you feel passionate but then a very painful separation, or something difficult with it, something not easy. So it can be a bit of a journey into the underworld, so to speak, and I say that because of the mythology of Persephone and Pluto, it's all Roman, Greek, Greco-Roman mythology. But if you're interested, if you have time and you're interested in that type of thing, because the astrology does connect with mythology as well, Persephone's journey into the underworld was because she fell in love with Hades, the lord of the underworld, which was, you know, she was in love with him, but he was a cold, kind of difficult figure, you know. But what she discovered there were these amazing jewels in the underworld that were, you know, representing riches, but it's symbolic of delving into the subconscious, delving into the shadow self through a relationship, sometimes delving into the shadow issues to find the jewels of the subconscious mind. I mean, it's really deep stuff, but you have the deep transit. So I would suggest, if you're interested or if you feel drawn, if you haven't already in the past, look into the Persephone's Hades mythology. And it talks about how Demeter, her mother, you know, was grieving because her daughter was in the underworld. And, you know, maybe this relates to you in another way as well. I don't know, but it's something that's coming to me to tell you. So, but in context to relationships anyway. So look, Jupiter's very lucky and blessed. And also it's funny I said protection, because Jupiter also protects. So even if you're going through something hard in whatever part of life, and possibly relationships, because that's where the intensity is, you are protected. Okay, you have Jupiter on your side, so that's really wonderful. I might pick one more just for another thing, but it does seem to be focusing a lot on relationships. Look at all the fire coming out. This is intense. Red energy. This is there's a lot of intensity this year, a lot of passion, a lot of forward momentum. And look at this. 3 in 1 is another 4. That's crazy. This one's 7 though, so it's about spirituality, your spiritual path, your philosophy as well. With Jupiter, it's like your spiritual side, but it's protection and it's abundance. Wow, so this is about embodying your personal truth, what it is that you want for your life. You're always going to be someone that your relationships are so important, your work relationships, your family relationships, and those that you love, those closest to you. And finding love is always going to be important to you, but finding yourself is equally as important, and it comes up this year as a very strong energy here. So this is also can be career related. It can be about going your own way in some way, or going more into something that's your own making, your own creation, your own independent path in some way. Love that. Okay, all that red is just, I mean, these cards are also mixed, you know, like different colors. So it's not like they're all red or anything. You must have got all the red cards. So the red is also the base chakra, as I'm sure you're aware, which is about grounding yourself as well. And staying grounded this year, very important, I feel. Wow, how interesting. I'm just going to sip my tea, 1 second. Okay, what challenges will you overcome this year? Let's have a look. Before I get to that, I'm going to add in a random other question. I feel like asking what door is opening for you this year. What doorways are opening? Just one card. Just as, I'm sure you have many doors open for you, but I feel like I want to get one, maybe 2. We'll see. Whatever I feel energetically, spiritually. For Jo, what's opening for Jo this year? Show me what doorways are opening for her. There's something here. Healing. Wow. Door of healing, recovery, restoration, renewal, rehabilitation and comfort. Okay, so we have the caduceus there, symbolic of healing, health. It's powerful, you know. It's like you are going through from February till June, July, early July, Jupiter in your 12th house, which is a very healing energy, you know. And it is about your spiritual life, I feel, combined with working on things like health and well-being, finding that balance in life. But there's definitely a focus on healing. And I also feel this is to do with your abilities as a healer. So, you know, anything that you're doing that's facilitating healing for others. There's something that I'm picking up on here. It's like it's coming through you holding space, and the energy that, and the space, the atmosphere that you're creating for others with the healing as well is part of that. There's something about the atmosphere as being very powerful for others, holding space. Yeah. So this is about your healing that then facilitates a healing for others, and it could be to do with your future work and business. I'm getting that. So that's a doorway that's opening for you. It's also about your own healing as well. There's something in the middle they want me to turn over. Oh, we have wisdom. Yeah, that's beautiful. So it's saying that It says insight, alignment, experience, understanding, intelligence. This is about all the things that you have gone through and that you are going through in your life are actually all adding to your ability to be an amazing healer for others. Powerful, powerful message there. Wow, that's so cool. I'm glad I did that. Okay, let's move on. So the next question, I'm going to use the tarot for this. What challenges are you overcoming this year, Joe? Let's see. Oh, this one's jumping out. Okay, something about masculine energy, relationships. Let's see what else. The moon, confusion, lack of clarity, fears, arguments, tension, problems with others. So there may have been things that even could be lingering stuff from last year. There could be a masculine energy that's been around in some way, whether it's a family member or someone that's connected to someone close to you, that maybe you felt was something about this person, or maybe you feel this year something about this person is unclear with the moon, and there's tension and difficulty, but it does speak to a relationship with the male. So it could be some emotions that are lingering about a problem that maybe you had with someone in the past, or it's still coming up to be healed in some way. It could be a relationship with men or a male energy from the past, I want to say. But it could be something to do with emotional or subconscious patterns, because the moon's all about that. With this card, it can be like where there's been conflict or difficulties in relationships. And I do get that. It could have been like triggered by a particular person, maybe a father figure or something else, or someone else. But it's talking about you winning out over the struggle, or you winning out over repeated patterns in some way. And there's something about, I'm hearing the word learning, like you're learning something very profound this year to do with repeated patterns in love. That's what I'm getting. Let's just do some astro dice and let get a bit more information. What is Joe overcoming this year? 8th house here, deep wounds. Cancer is a family. So Cancer represents the family and the past. Exactly what I said. The 8th is things that are being buried in the subconscious that might be getting triggered up this year. Taurus is like renewed stability and finding stability in your life again. And Taurus is also your personal goals, like where you're headed in your life, material and anything to do with stability. Also Venus rules Taurus. It's to do with love as well. So this is very interesting. It's saying you're going to be overcoming a pattern of conflict or difficulty or harshness in some way in a relationship context that is to do with stuff coming up still from the past, being triggered by certain things this year. Deep stuff. The 8th house is intimacy, like even things that are like pushed away, deeply buried, things like that, or just things that we don't want to face because it's too dark or heavy or whatever it is. Taurus is like so that you can find a new stability going forward and a long-term stability for yourself. Wow. Okay, so you will be overcoming that, and it looks like you're going to be working on that, healing that this year. It could also reference a specific person. Sometimes there's double meanings, and I feel like there could be a reference to a specific person, and you may feel like I've done a lot of healing work already, but there may be something that's still, it sometimes surprises us when we've done so much work and there's still more that comes up. Believe me, Joe, I've been there many times. It's like, gosh, I spent years healing that, and there's still stuff that's coming up from getting triggered by other people or new situations. It's like, oh my gosh, this issues of empowerment, personal power versus other people, what they want and what they're trying to get, and all this stuff that happens in relationships. But anyway, it shows you're going to win out over it, so that's good news. With the 5 of Swords, can be winning out over ego conflicts and patterns that have been hard to pinpoint why they're getting triggered, but they have been getting triggered. Okay, so let's get into the practical things. What is happening with work, career and money this year? Okay, let's have a look at that. I'm going to use a different deck now. I'm going to use this. Just make sure they're up the right way, because I do not use reversals. Yeah, they are. I'll just give them a good shuffle. This is the Ethereal Glow Tarot. Oh, jumping card. 4 of Wands, home life. Okay, that's nice. So we're talking about finances and work, and it shows your home life. So maybe you're going to be wanting to work from home more, or spend more time at home, maybe own business, working on that. 4 of Wands can be that kind of energy. King of Swords again. Huh, that's very weird. That came up again. What's this King of Swords? Let's clarify. Queen of Pentacles. Ooh. something to do with a fatherly energy or an influence of a father figure on you, because I feel like that's your energy, the Queen of Pentacles. And Pentacles is about money. Swords is about thoughts and thinking, though. So there might be something that, you know, is like in your DNA, that's like ancestral DNA to do with the masculine side, that is maybe to do with business. Like you've inherited some kind of, I feel like it's a different message to the other King of Swords. It's a different energy here. It's talking about you've inherited certain abilities and talents from the father's line. I'm not saying you didn't get any from your mum, but it's to do with business here. That's what I'm getting. I knew that card was going to come out. The Hierophant, that's Taurus. It's to do with your future stability. It's about authority and stepping into some authority for yourself in regards to career. So there may be a stepping up into some kind of different level of authority somehow. The Devil. Okay, so the Devil warns us not to be too pushy with things that we want, because it can sometimes be coming out of fear or like an overzealous energy. So just watch out for that a little bit. The Five of Cups is saying, okay, so you do need to be patient with this year with career developments. There will be opportunities, but it's coming in divine timing. It's something where I feel that you have to balance between being pushing the universe too much or pushing things too much. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not receiving abundance. I feel like you are this year, but there's also a lot of need to pace yourself and not move too quickly to try and get results. Because I feel like if you try to rush into things or move too quickly, it's could lead to this energy of feeling frustrated and the disappointment. It's like pacing yourself, be chill with things, and it'll do better that way is what I'm getting. Let's go look at money. Anything about money for Joe? Money, someone's popping out. Oh, a lot of energy here. The World. Wow, that's a strong card. Interestingly, that is Saturn, and it's exactly what I was just saying. That's Saturn as well. Huh. I mean, that's Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn, but this is Saturn. They're still connected, very connected. Now, Saturn, you've got Saturn transits this year. You've got Saturn with your Mercury, which is, I talked about that in the month to month, making tough decisions, having boundaries, having to focus on the positive, not letting pessimistic thoughts get to you, which can be this, like feeling disappointed if something doesn't work out. If something doesn't work out that you want, know that something better is lined up for you. Saturn here, coming up twice with Capricorn, is all about the step-by-step in the career, doing things slowly over time and building something for yourself over time and not rushing it. There can be a temptation to rush through things this year because of a lot of energies going on. We're in the year of the horse from Feb 17th, same time as the solar eclipse that starts. Crazy energy, very fast-paced energy. But if we go too fast in an already fast year, we can slip up and there can be issues and problems. So it's better to try to slow ourselves down. And this is very much telling you that. The World is a very powerful card. It talks about the world is your oyster. The world is, you know, at your feet, ready for the next phase for you of your life. And it's the end of an old cycle, the beginning of a new cycle for you in career and money matters. So it's actually quite powerful. This is saying don't get overly focused on out of a fear-based sort of reaction, or don't take action when it comes to career or money purely out of fear. Take action out of instinct and your intuition more so, because if you take action out of fear, you're going to feel very burnt out is what I'm getting. This is a slow, methodical energy that over time, putting the effort in, you know, putting the work in, the step by step over time is actually going to build something really powerful, and it could start this year. So you could actually start building something like a new business this year. I feel like there's one more card. Eight of Cups, leaving something behind that's from the past that you no longer resonate with. So you might be letting go of something that's to do with what you previously worked on in some way, in some aspect, and it's you're feeling called. Like the Eight of Cups traditionally is walking away, but there's also another side to this card, which is being pulled towards something where you feel, I feel I need to go in this direction. It's a very intuitive feeling. Underneath the deck was the King of Pentacles, which is a very powerful money card. It's someone who really has everything going for them. So it feels like that's in the future for you once you start really digging into this new path this year. That's what I'm getting. So with the Five of Cups, that disappointment card, it's saying don't let yourself get carried away with feeling too upset or emotional if something doesn't work out in the way you thought it should, because there's going to be something else is what I'm getting. That's better. All right. Okay, so what is happening this year with your love, romance, and relationship life? Okay, I'm just going to sip my tea. 1 second. I might use a different deck for that. Let's see, what's this one here? Oh yeah, this is a good one to use. The unicorn. Actually, no, I wanted the Crystal Visions Tarot. That's a better deck. Hang on. Sorry, thought that was the Crystal Visions. I think this is it. Oh, that's not it either. Where is it? Sorry, Joe, give me a sec. It's not it either. Okay, I don't know where I put that one. So I'm going to use a combination of my Oracle decks and actually I'm going to use this other one, the Light Seers Tarot. This one here. It's a good one for relationships. Let's see what the vibes are, and I really wanted the Crystal Visions Tarot. That's very annoying that I can't find it. I've got so many decks here, but hang on 1 second. Let's see if it's over there. No. Okay, that's all right. Can't find it. Mustn't be meant to be. Okay, so for Joanne, what is coming in for love and relation? Oh, jumping cards. Okay, so this is saying do not overburden yourself with trying too hard when it comes to love this year. Just let things flow. And, you know, if you want to meet people, I would say the time that you have Pluto on your North Node is probably not the best time. The time that you have Uranus square your Sun, which I talked about before, is not the best time. Let me get the dates so you can just be reminded and maybe write it down. And that now, let's see. Sorry, Joe, give me a minute. I just want to help you out by giving the date. Yeah, okay, so yeah, so February is pretty intense with you've got the Pluto North Node transit in your relationship house. It's not the best time to meet someone unless it happens just, you know, naturally. And June, 18th of June, around that time to 9th of July is not the best time because the person may not be, they might be on and off or in and out of your life. They may not be stable, and you do have like some really more tense stuff for relationships in June. July probably is better, I would say. Yeah, so okay, just wanted to mention that. But this is saying don't overburden yourself. This one's flung out. So let's see. Oh, the moon. Yeah, so not being able to see things clearly. This can also be sometimes the moon can be feeling very emotional, overburdened and very emotional. So it's, you know, it's like there's a need to trust the universe. I don't know if I've said this before, but I've definitely something I've noticed and seen is that when it comes to soulmates, meeting a soulmate, it's very destined. It's not something that, you know, you can really make happen, like make your career happen or put the action, you know, I mean, unless you're being a hermit and you're just never meeting, never going outside. But I do believe that people's souls get called to do certain things and to go certain places. It's like you will know. And this is saying don't get caught up in, when it comes to love, a fear that you're not doing enough and a fear that you're never going to meet this person, because that's not true. It's saying that this is a bit of self-deception that can happen where you talk yourself negatively and say, oh, well, I've had these relationships in the past, I'm probably not going to meet, you know, my soulmate. You know, don't get into any negative self-talk this year, which could be a temptation. This can also be feeling overwhelmed as well emotionally about something to do with relationships. Let's dig a little bit deeper. Oh, goodness. The Knight of Wands. Interesting. Ooh, the Chariot. Well, there is someone by the looks of it. Now, the Knight of Wands, even though it's a female depicted here, typically the Knight of Wands is someone that you find very, very attractive, that's very good looking. You just feel that chemistry with them. You're like, whoa, I feel just right in their presence. So there might be part of the year where this energy is very different. Look at this. It's very sort of depressive colors here, very down, very heavy with the Ten of Wands. It's like the weight of the world on your shoulders. The moon is like, I'm just lost in my feelings. I don't know what I want. I don't know what I'm doing. And then all of a sudden there's this person, and just ignore the fact that it's a woman, because, I mean, look, it could represent also how you feel about love. But traditionally, the Knight of Wands is someone who's very good looking and very passionate and sweeps you off your feet with the Chariot. They are coming in. Someone is coming in this year that is a soulmate. Now, when I say that, soulmate does not necessarily mean last forever. Some people have multiple soulmates there. All soulmates is a pre-contracted lesson and connection, and it's to learn about love. It's to learn about different facets of yourself, different parts of yourself that are stimulated and triggered by another person that you're in a relationship with. And another soulmate that comes in is matching your next steps of evolution, the next level of your evolution, right? And what you're needing to learn at this time. But there is someone coming in here. This is very clear with the Knight of Wands and the Chariot. And they may come in very unexpected when you're not expecting it. I think I just repeated myself, but you get my message. All right, let's see what else about love. Actually, oh, yes, see, Knight of Swords, they're coming in very suddenly. You're going to meet them unexpectedly is what I'm seeing. All right, let's get some other cards about it. Actually, I'm going to use my deck. This is the Cosmic Omens and Signs Oracle. Let's see anything. These are very mixed messages, but let's see what comes up about this new person. What's the energy for Joe? Confidence, self-belief, empowerment, winning. Yeah, so that's about you, even though it's a man here. It's saying be confident in yourself. Oh, secrets. Okay, that makes sense with Pluto. A Pluto transit can be about secrets or hidden things coming to light. There may be something that is not revealed. Look, it doesn't mean it has to be a bad thing, but, you know, I don't know what it is. It's not telling me, but it's showing me that there may be something that's hidden, or things that they don't tell you straight away, or things that you sense something, you know, like that's just like they're not saying it. And you're like, I wonder, like maybe they're a bit mysterious, or maybe they've got things in their past that you just haven't quite put the pieces of the puzzle together. There is travel with this person, escapade, getting away, adventure, so that looks nice. Just be aware this person might be a little bit guarded. There may be things from their past that they don't want to talk about, maybe things that, you know, happened in the past that were difficult. Let's get another card. This one's popping out. Romance. That's crazy, because these cards, the Divine Goddess messages, are all different messages. So you do have romance coming in this year. Oh, look at the picture on that. It's so lovely. What? She even looks like you a little bit. The side of... Oh my God, she actually looks like you. That's crazy. Look at the side of the face. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, I want to make sure it doesn't... Like her profile. And even like... just the vibe. She looks like you. She's being romanced. Hardcore. Keep the spark alive by rekindling your passion. Yeah, wow. There's definitely someone coming in this year. Get one more card. Looking back. Review the past for clues on how to move forward. Okay. Yeah, so there might be stuff that's... I talked about the past before. There might be stuff that's coming up for you from the past of where you got hurt, or, you know, fears or worries about being hurt or something like that, or fear of loss could be coming up, fear of betrayal, you know, things of that nature. What I'd say to you is, because of the energy, it's just not super stable for this year. Now, it doesn't mean that you can meet someone this year. Like I said, the energy's strong for it, but it could also be where, you know, things don't take off in terms of a commitment till another year. There may be a certain level of commitment maybe, or a certain level of romance, but just be aware that there is a lot of strong energies that are kind of destined, that, well, they are destined, that with Pluto and with the Uranus square sun, that might be a little bit unstable. So I would say enjoy the experience, because it feels like a soulmate energy, but there may be like some issues going on here, okay? But you will feel a little bit swept off your feet, that's for sure. And you will feel some chemistry that's quite strong. So see what happens. Stay open-minded, but also protect your energy and trust your instincts as well. What area of life is lucky for you this year? Okay, let's see. What area of life? I need to do the astro cards with that. What area of life is lucky for Joe this year? Oh, emotionally, and also this could be to do with family. So look, it doesn't mean that everything's perfect, okay? So I don't want you to think, oh, because it's come up, you know, like this. There may be some kind of breakthrough at some stage of the year, or some kind of healing is more what I'm getting. It might be more towards the second half of the year. 6 and 1 is 7, which is spiritual energy. So it feels like if there's any issues with family, I would go to prayer. Taurus again. Abundance. Wow. Taurus is also ruled by Venus, which is about love. 4 and 1 is 5. In astrology, the 5th house is the house of romance, also the house of creativity and enjoyment of life. So this is about enjoying your life. And the lucky energy is, to have Taurus and Cancer, it is stability. So your like practical life, your financial and your home life is stable this year. Home life is stable. So that doesn't mean that family is perfect. You know, you do have Pluto in the 7th house of relationships, could include family in that. There could be ups and downs, there could be problems. You know, that's possible with Pluto in that spot. But this is saying, regardless of all that, you do have a strong foundation underneath you, which is protecting you. Cancer is about feeling protected and secure. Taurus is the same energy. It's like, I've got my stability, I've got my home, I've got my routine. You know, I know what I'm doing. I've got money in the bank. You know, I'm okay. So that's a very strong grounding energy to have, which is that security and stability of those two. So this is saying that this is lucky for you this year, your security, your stability, and your money, by the way. Your money is lucky this year. So you are in that 8th cycle, which is drawing in the abundance, and you did have a Jupiter as well, which is that abundance card came up before. What are your angels helping you with this year? Okay, let's have a look, see what the angels are helping you with. Okay. Some angel cards, and then there's one more question, advice from your spirit guides. Okay, this reading turned out really long for you for some reason. I think you had so many transits with your astrology. Everyone's different. Like, some people have less busy, you know, astrology, some people have more intense, but yours was very busy. Okay, Jo, what does she need to know? What are her angels are helping her with? Wow, I was talking about that earlier with the Saturn Mercury transit. Stay positive. Okay, stay positive in your outlook. This is very important. If you start feeling cynical or negative or things like that, you could be projecting that like hardcore energy onto the situation outside. It actually can affect it. So, you know, watching that, especially when you have the Saturn Mercury transit, there's a tendency to be, oh, it's not going to work out. Oh, I know what's happening, and just like judge it, prejudge it, and close the case before you've even let things unfold. So just be careful of doing that. I feel especially with romance. Okay, I'm getting that with romance. Again, 7, 5 and 2 is 7. So listen to your intuitive side of yourself. Listen to your intuition rather than, you know, negative thoughts that may come up this year with the Saturn Mercury transit. Okay, your guides are saying it's very important for you to stay positive this year regardless of what's going on, because it feels like your positive thoughts will create a positive outcome with things. Angel of Decisions, 8. So 8 is a very intense part of the astrology charts to do with money, serious decisions. Oh, look at the soulmate card coming in again. Wow, so that validates there is someone coming in this year. I mean, I did say that there was someone coming in. You had the Chariot, you had the other card. This is beautiful. So there's definitely a soulmate coming in. Like I said, it doesn't mean it's like necessarily forever. It's not about that. It's about having the connection, exploring the connection to what it's destined to be, and letting it breathe and unfold. This is a beautiful energy here. So there is a soulmate coming in. You know, it doesn't mean that the lessons are always easy though. You know, some people say, oh, love is meant to be easy. It's not true. Love is a mixture of lessons that are a lot of the time predestined. Yes, love is love, and it's meant to be fulfilling and feel like deeply, you know, satisfying, fulfilling, however you want to word it. But sometimes we're learning at the level that our soul is at, and so is the other person, and we're not ready for the deeper love until we get older or whatever it is. And you know, there's different stages of evolution and experiences with it. So this is beautiful though. So I love it. Look at that. What a gorgeous card. She's getting swept off her feet again, which is you. I love that. Wow, beautiful. Let's see what your spirit guides want you to know. Any advice for this year from the spirit guides? What's the spirit guides advice for Jo for the next 12 months? Jo, next 12 months, something here. Adventure, that came up before. So there's something about travel this year. 7 comes up again. You've had so many 7s. Wow. 7 is trust the unfolding of your spiritual path. It's not about, oh, how's that going to happen? How's that going to work with everything and putting everything under a microscope or like stressing about it. It's about saying, I trust that things will unfold, you know? And I'm sure you do that already, but it's reminding you, break the chains of whether it's negative thoughts, fear, anything like that. And fears, look, fears can come up with Saturn, Mercury, and fears can come up with Pluto in that part of your chart. Let's get one more card of advice. Yeah, come out of limitation, coming out of limitation. Look at that, 44 again. You've had that again. You are protected. You can come out of limited thinking and fear-based thinking. So maybe that's something you're going to work on this year, you know. This is on the bottom and got my attention. It says charity, nature spirits, number 43. So it's again coming out about helping others, and see how she's got her hands out. It makes me feel like there's a healing energy coming from her. It reminds me of you a little bit. So she's bringing the healing energy, and that's part of your purpose, is to bring that healing energy to others and to uplift their souls. So you're tapping into your purpose as well this year. You're coming out of limited thinking. There may be times when it's not going to be the whole year that you're having issues with that. It might be certain times when you've got that Saturn-Mercury transit that I spoke about earlier. But you've got adventures coming, which is so beautiful, and I feel healing with that as well. So you may travel this year, and that travel may bring some kind of healing inspiration, healing insight, something like that. So I'll leave that there for you, Jo. I hope you enjoyed the reading. Thank you so much, and wish you a wonderful 12 months. Take care. Bye.